welcome everybody to this podcast, the Conscious Living Podcast. And my guest today is Tariq Ruffin. Tariq, introduce yourself, please.
Hello, I'm Tariq Ruffin. I'm the author of
Boss, Being Over Satan's System. So, Tariq, you wrote this book, and I want to tell the audience how I met you. Okay. Tariq had a big sign up that which was basically a copy of the front of his book, Boss, Being Over Satan's System. And he had a bicycle, a trike, a three-wheeled trike, and this big sign is up on the back of it. So I'd seen him around town a little bit. So one day I stopped and asked him, I'm like, dude, what is that being over Satan's system? And so we had a real beautiful and deep conversation. So anyway, so Tariq, tell us just a little bit about yourself, okay?
okay. Well, I'm a very intelligent man. I'm an inventor. I done invented three inventions,
Right.
and I'm an artistic person. I like, I draw. I like to, create. I like to. I make things out of bread wrappers. Um,
Hey, let me stop 1 second and say, uh, I know that Tariq's intelligent because we've had a lot of beautiful, deep conversations. But this man, I wrote a book. Y'all know probably about it, and it took me 3 years sitting on the couch with a laptop, doing all type of stuff. And Tariq wrote his book uh, on his cell phone, and I thought that that was completely amazing, and got all the artwork done and had it published, and it's on Amazon. So if you want Tariq's book, Boss, Being Over Satan's System, go out to Amazon. Tariq Ruffin. Okay, Tariq. So yeah, so you're creative. Okay. um and your mom realized that you were creative, right?
yeah.
And so now you're here, kind of middle aged, a lot younger than I am, but middle aged, and you've written this book. Tell me why you wrote this book.
Okay. I wrote being over Satan system because I was a child who was very keen, and my mother, I, she basically was like, life is gonna be hard for you because intelligent little black boys ain't
They weren't welcome in the South yet, were they?
no, not in the South, no,
Not in
no,
the South.
because
Okay.
you would affect the way that life would go with the system, with the way so much about so many things. So special ed, you can do your thing in special ed because they're gonna want to kill you, baby.
Right. Yeah.
She was scared. Said she
Yeah.
was afraid.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, man, I'm asking her questions, and you know, ain't no 13s in the elevator. Ain't no 13s. It's not a 13.
Ain't no 13s in elevators, right?
I was born October the 13th. So I'm like, man, that right there had me like, why is the 13 missing?
What
Because
year?
my
What year
birthday,
were you born?
1979.
1979. Oh, you are a young man. Um, okay, so you wrote this book, Boss, Being Over Satan's System. Um, tell me the purpose. What is the core message in the book?
The core message in boss is we have to declare our, competence over a system we're supposed to run. Government. See, it doesn't do anything without a living being.
Mm-hmm.
So we are the heart, we are the soul of the system, and we have to take back our sovereignty, our sovereign position, our, soul position. So
Right.
in this,
And you and I have talked about sovereignty before. Sovereignty means to self-govern, right? That
yes,
you can handle your own affairs.
right,
That
exactly.
you're not, you know, not
And
that we're dependent on each other,
yeah,
but because we're all dependent on each other,
yeah,
but you can handle your own affairs. I can handle my own affairs.
yeah,
We don't need anybody over us to handle our own affairs, right?
Right.
Okay, so tell me what Satan is. What is how do you define Satan in this process here?
Okay. Satan is the fiat currency we use.
Okay,
It's not backed by gold and silver.
okay.
So if your money isn't backed by gold and silver, what is your money backed by then? What's your money backed by? It's backed by the, flesh and blood man, the true living.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're the truth and living, then it must be the adversary, Satan, that I have to stay on top of.
So Satan is the adversary. Okay, and you talked about birth certificates and social security cards. Talk to us about that just a little bit.
So your birth certificate and your social security card are like routing systems for the system. Like we're not acknowledged to a entity. The entity is um the system that it can't communicate with you. You flesh,
Mm-hmm.
you flesh and blood. So it has to have a medium, a go between.
I
That's
got you. And so our social security and our birth certificate ties us to this
plan
system,
system.
Satan's system.
Yep.
And you talked about Satan's system being built on our system.
Yeah.
Will you talk a little more about that, please?
So the earth is underneath.
Right.
This, yeah, the earth, the art, what's ours is underneath what's theirs. They built their system, and this is the Satan, what I'm saying, situation. They
Right.
built their system on top of someone's property, someone's land.
Right.
So they built their system on what's ours, and that's why the whole thing is not conducive for us. It's not.
So this is our world. They built their system on our world, and they've indoctrinated us into the system with these numbers and dates. There's nothing that backs up our fiat, no gold, no silver. It's all just numbers on a machine. We know that if we all go down to the bank at one time and ask for money, our money's not there, right? They're lending it out,
Yep.
usury, right? Is that a reasonable word?
Yes,
I
it
don't
is.
want to put words in your mouth.
No, you said it right. You said
Yeah,
it.
usury.
Usually.
And so that is the system that we've grown up in.
Yep.
And I think that I don't want to put words in your mouth, so you correct me, but we've talked about this before. We grow up in this world and we're kind of blind to the system. We just
Right.
assume.
Assumptions.
Well, yeah, we make an assumption. We all know what an assumption means, right? Assume.
Yeah.
Assume means making an ass out of you and me, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yep. Exactly.
so we assume that this system is like built for us, and we're tied to it, and it's got benefits, but really it's just using us almost like slaves, right?
Yep.
To feed their
Exactly.
system, to feed a discrepant,
Yep.
non-healthy system. Okay, so now, so if the book is being over Satan's system, and we know what Satan's system is, pretty please tell us how to get out of it.
Okay. Right. This is the situation. You got the system, which is what the barcode is on. See
Oh yeah,
the barcode. So
right.
you see, I got my name and face on the back
Yep,
because I have ownership
right,
of a product.
right.
This is also your get out of jail free part with being accused of being a part of this fraud.
Okay.
So of course, getting out of the contract,
Hmm.
staying clear of being entrapped by the contract. Like
Hmm.
I'm at U-Haul, so they had to work on my payment. Instead, they put it off.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm supposed to pay them the first of every month. They got me paying them in the middle, and I'm like, yo, wait a minute, y'all can't overcharge. You know, you need to know I had put in the notice for you to get the payments right. So
Right.
that's on record. Now they reduced what they had previously decided to try to charge me. Got that down.
Right. And you're talking about like a monthly disability payment or something?
Yeah,
Yeah. Um, and so basically the system just does whatever it wants to do, right?
right,
And and we don't have access to all the, like, I personally think that food, water, shelter should all be things that we're all have, right? I mean, as being part of this earth, we have a right to food, water, and shelter, right?
right,
But they've claimed that away from us, haven't they?
right. Through their contracts.
Right,
That you know they get you to sign every time you know like child. That's okay. So we're gonna have you listen to our system through these channels.
right,
You know you need to know all the backdoor about this paperwork contract that you're contracting. Your parents never did that. They
right,
they you know they didn't know that they were being deceived. That's
right.
that's that's how the system works.
Okay, so Tariq, we're gonna wrap this up pretty soon. Uh, Tell me one thing that the average person can do to get out from underneath the system. What's the most important thing?
Is to basically put the system on notice about your Social Security and birth certificate that you are not that and that is not you. Um, they made that, and you'll get that back and everything with it gladly. So by letting them know that that you just are holding this creation that they made, but you will always give it to them. You know what I'm saying? So render the Caesar what Caesar, and
Render to what Caesar's what Caesar, and render to God what's God's.
right. And so
No?
you just basically connecting or aligning yourself with your proper order.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Tariq, I want to thank you so much for being on the Conscious Living podcast. Really appreciate that you're expanding our awareness and trying to make us all sovereign and self-governing beings and getting back all the resources that are ours on this earth, right?
Right.
And so thank you very much for being on the show. And everybody go out and buy Tariq's book, Boss, Being Over Satan's System. Okay. We're signing off.
Okay.
Thanks, Tariq.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.